Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Let's bring up the puzzle. Happy Tuesday to all who celebrate. We get to start with a puzzle that somehow I thought was by Jacob and Woofer, but apparently it's not. I imagined that. It is by GarlicBredFries and Xenonetix. As always, we start with the most voted on puzzle. Today, the voters for the puzzle were David, Alathana, Jay Dyer, Russ, David, Paul Fly, and Woofer. So thank you all for your support. Greatly appreciated. I don't think I have anything to announce in particular. But I'm mulling over a setting challenge. Maybe I should say that. Oh, I should probably also pull up chat. It'll probably be a lot more interactive if I look at what you're all saying while I do this. I had it minimized, and so it's just not looking at it. There we go. Hey, Selena. Hey, David, Jay. Multiple of the voters are in chat. Laura, Martin, Tallcat, David, Peter. I think it's Tuesday. If it's not Tuesday, I can end stream. I think is how it works. So let's see. So what are the rules? So I am told this is a chaos construction. So we need every digit from 1 to 9 to appear once in every row, column, and region, but we need to find the regions. And every region is orthogonally connected. No sort of weird KNT regions that are only diagonally connected. Circled digits signify the number of cells it sees orthogonally in its region, including itself. Not all circles are necessarily given. And so just if you're curious what that looks like, we have something like this circle in this example grid, where the 5 sees 5 total cells, and this 4 sees 4 cells. And so sees is sort of like, and the reason why it's called cavernous is because these clues function like cave clues. We've got a bunch of them. Okay, unfortunately, there's no negative constraint on circles, so that will be nice. Yeah, I don't put a lot of counting circle puzzles in the bucket, so it's... I guess 9 is the most it can possibly be. This cell can't be in the 9 region, because what the 9 means is that every single cell in this region is seen. Let's see. So this little cluster is easy. So I guess one thing to notice is that you can't ever put a 1 in a circle. So I was curious if that was going to give me some sort of like swordfish on 1s. Scanning it, I don't see it. I see like 3 places for 1 in this column and 3 places for 1 in this column, but they don't align well, particularly. It is true. I agree with Selena. These two are always in the same region because the 2 either goes this way or this way, but it has to hit a barrier immediately. And so whichever way it goes, it has to turn that way. Let's see. Martin says if these 2 are in the same region, it breaks column 1. Oh, yeah, you eventually have to break it by saying you eventually end up here if you follow it far enough. At least my argument for this is pretty nasty, but it is true. If you imagine that these 2 are in the same region, this is definitely not in that region, so it grows out to here. But now the fact that these 2 circles need to be different tells me that this circle also needs to be purple. And now remember, this 9 sees everything, so now that 9 is done. And this is broken for myriad reasons, including these 2 orange circles, and including the fact that this doesn't have a region, and a bunch of other things. So we have that. Okay, so I am trying to understand Selena's point. So Selena has a better argument for this. So Selena's argument is that whatever region this is, it always takes these 2 cells. Because if I imagine that it doesn't take this cell, then we know it takes at most one of these 2. Because if it took both of these, it would break row 1, column 1. So it takes at most one of these. And so if it doesn't take this one, it takes at most one of those. And then it needs to take all of these. And that's a problem because it breaks these 2 circles. And symmetrically, you can do it. And if you did this, if it didn't take this cell, then it would need to take all of these, and it would break these 2 circles. Basically, I guess the one way to say it is that this purple can never get to a second circle in either direction. So it can't take more than 7 cells in the row and column. Really 6, I should say. 6 cells in a row or column, plus its cell that it's given, plus one of these. That means that both of these are purple. And we know this cell is not purple. So we have that. Now, if these 2 are in the same region, it says that we need to extend this region this way. Otherwise, these 2 are in different regions. I suppose I can say these 2 are in the same region, actually. Because now if these 2 are in different regions, we have a similar problem. If these 2 are in different regions, that region goes down, and it's broken immediately because these 2 circles have the same value. So these 2 are in the same region, so that region can't be purple. So we'll make that region green. Let's see. Yeah, and the Martin points out we can border these and that as well. Hey, Nell, how are you doing? If purple goes down, then I need to divide between these 2. Selena is going to, I think, spare me the argument that I'm going through in my head, which is that by saying that the maximum number of cells, if purple doesn't take this cell, it's capped at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells, and 7 is not enough. Sorry, 8. It's capped at 8 cells, and 8 cells is not enough. And it couldn't even be these 8 cells because of the 2 circles, in fact. So it's actually capped at 7 cells if it doesn't take this. And I bet that also means it needs to take the next cell, too. Because if it doesn't take this, then it would be forced. Like, basically, I think the point is it can't take. Oh, maybe what I said isn't true, actually. As long as these are in 2 different regions, it might be okay. But now this circle isn't green, is the problem. Because this circle, if it was green, it would have the same number as this circle now that it's bounded below. And so green gets at least 1 more in this direction, which means it needs gads more in this direction. And now this circle needs to not see the same number as this circle, so this green needs to come over like that. What? Oh, it can be green. Sorry. You're right. Sorry. Because if the green goes down, then it can. Yeah. Okay. So is what we're really saying? This can't be purple. Yeah, this can't be purple because if this is purple, now green breaks running across this. So this is not purple. And in fact, we didn't really prove it was not purple. We really proved it was not green. So this cell is green. And now I think purple, if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, now purple has to take one more cell in that direction. Yet again. Not green, a tragically underused color indeed. Sven needs to get on adding a palette of not greens for use. Okay, so if there's a border here, then this thing definitely grows that way. For what it's worth. Ah, yes. Okay, so this is the remark earlier that I made that Martin is making now, except it's useful. If this cell isn't purple, then purple is forced to look like this, and that puts these two circles in purple, and that's a no-no. So this cell's actually always purple. We could have argued that a long time ago. And now green can't possibly make it through these two. And so if green can't possibly make it through these two, that means that green's got to go at least a ways over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of that has to be green. So we have all of that. David donates for an amazing 2024. Continuous thank you and appreciation for all puzzles, streams, setters, challenges. Very much looking forward to see what 2025 brings in the world of variants. And the first weekend in April. Oh yes, that's right. I get to meet many of you at SudokuCon. Let's get you a donation dance. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Yoo-hoo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you, David. People will also have the opportunity to meet Zach at SudokuCon, who will assuredly also travel. Earlier, I found myself having the thought that I should wear Zach around in a backpack with me so that people would know who I was, presuming that people would not be able to recognize me, and then realizing that, in fact, people might actually be able to recognize me, given that I stream. My brain is very strange sometimes. These two definitely, Jay Dyer, I think I saw point out, can't be in the same region. So that creates a border. Oops. And so we have another not green cell, because if this is not green, we create an issue. And so now this is something which could be yellow. No, it can't be yellow. This can't be yellow because if it was yellow, it would need to isolate some cells against the border, because the yellow would have to connect around here. It couldn't go straight down because it would break the two. So the yellow would have to connect, but a 9x9 grid is not big enough. And this is like a chaos construction meta fact that is incredibly annoying to prove. But is a good one to know, and you really don't want to prove it because it is incredibly annoying to prove. You can't enclose a region on the border with another region in a 9 by 9 grid specifically. You get up to 12 by 12, and I think you can do it. Maybe it's 11 by 11. I don't remember. It's 9 by 9 is just outside the realm. So basically, it can't leave the border and come back to the border because it would isolate a region. So we've got that. Do note that if you have a corner, you can in a 9 by 9. So you can you have to. It's the border of the same side that is the problem. Anyway, so this is a new color. It can be orange. I am being told that we can calculate this with the power of math, which I suppose we can do. So I will bring out Zach for the power of math dance. Ba-boop-a-doop. Woo! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wee! Ba-doop. Boo-doop. 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 Wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. I've also spotted while Zach was dancing that this orange can come down. Hey, GarlicBredFries. Because if this orange did not continue down, it would need to contain a 2, and it doesn't. And it needs to continue down again, because if it didn't continue down again, it would contain a 3, which it doesn't. And so now these two circles are different, so that circle needs to be orange. So we get that. This definitely can't be orange, because if this were orange, it would be exactly the same as that. So this is not orange. And therefore, by the power invested in me by the state of New York, it is yellow. So we can continue over there. This yellow, I see, cannot be 3, so the yellow has to continue. Oops. So we've got that much. This is a new region down here. It is going to be the blue region. Like that. I'm being encouraged to count purple again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, so purple grows 1 more, which makes green grow 1 more. Can draw those in. This is now computable, I am being told. So that is a 4. And now that makes this yellow grow again. Because if it didn't keep growing in this direction, it would be a 4. So it does keep growing in that direction. I'm being told that if I count green now, I will find a delightful treat, which is that green is actually 9 cells, which makes that a 9 and this a 7, if we are into that kind of thing, which I guess we're kind of priced into being. Oh, I see there's a given 5. The given 5 is telling me that this orange grows, actually. Oh, no. I'm very afraid whenever a 5-star puzzle starts out with us, like, filling in half the grid, that means there's going to be some something really horrible forthcoming. So we've got that. Okay, so this is at least 4, I suppose, and at most 8. Can't be 9, both by Sudoku and by geometry. Take your pick. Let's see, this is currently at 6. So this is 6, 7, or 8. Selena points out we should quasi-law of leftovers the 3 into one of these circles, because we know that both of those cells have to go here in row 1. Well, I don't know what one of them is, but I know what the other is. And I mean, I guess I can actually mark off. I know the other one is not 2 or 4. So, and it's not 1 either. So actually, I can do more with Selena's point than just marking that these are 3. One of them is 3, and the other is at least 5. Yeah, I was trying to convince myself they had to be in the same region. Yeah, if they're in different regions, yeah, because there are at least three. If they're in different regions, we create this problem right away where these two circles end up being the same. So these are in fact in the same region. That region can be red. And because of that, that means both of these are also red because both of these numbers are at least three. Uh, uh, and I guess I can go ahead and fill out that that means that this is 5, 6, or 8 for what it's worth. Yeah, 1 in column 1 is in orange. I agree. Uh, oh, are we bounding purple again now? If purple goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so now purple gets pushed one more cell. Good job keeping an eye on purple. Let's see. If purple grows there, this would be a 5. Uh, uh, right. Okay, yeah. So is that true? Uh, right. Yeah. Sorry, those two. Sorry, I was trying to think about these two. It's these two is the problem. Yeah. So, uh, these two certainly see the same number of cells in the column, so they can't see the same number of cells in the row. Currently, they both see two, so one of them has to grow, but it can only be this one, is David's point. And so, therefore, now purple is done. And we get to fill in this 5. Uh, sure do. Actually, can this cell possibly be orange? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The reason why I'm asking that is if this is orange, it can't be 4, 5, or 7. It would have to be exactly 6. Uh, and so orange would have to take both of those cells in order for that to happen. Uh, and I guess technically, that's okay. Looks pretty specific, but it's very close. But I think it's technically still okay. Okay. So there is a border below one of these two. Whichever of these has a border below it, its digit is a 4. So I know that one of these two is a 4. I know there's a border between below one of these two because one of these numbers is a 3. And so wherever there's a 3, there's a border below it, and the number immediately below that is a 4, which now means there's a 4 in one of those two cells in purple for whatever it is worth. So that has actually, weirdly enough, grown blue of all things, because blue now actually grows twice because it can't be 4 by that corner mark, and it can't be 5 by a given digit, which I have expertly spotted. So now it's at least 6, and it can only be 6 or 7. Oops, 6 or 7, not 3. Could it actually... No, sorry, can't go there, right. This cell can never be blue. Wait, could it be? Sorry, I actually think it could be blue. I think this can be an 8. David has a smart spot about what an 8 up here would mean. Namely, if something here is an 8, then it sees 2 horizontally. And so the thing below it would then see 1 more horizontally. And so 1 more than 8 is 9. And so the Sudoku point that David has is that 9 is already in the row. So actually, neither of these can be 8, which means the 8 in this row is in green. So that's not an 8. That is a 5 or a 6. Hey, Pause, how are you doing? I hope life is good. I like that spot about the 4 a lot. Let's see. Okay, and the other one, yeah, that 5, 6 I know is there. And so this 5, 6 I also know is in one of these cells. So if this is a 6, then it actually forces me to shove a 6 in here, which might be okay, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that since I'm seeing a lot of the student stress at the moment. Right. These are one of these that has a border below it is a 4, and the one of these that doesn't have a border below it, David is pointing out, I know by math, is 1 more than the one of these. So these are 4, 6, 7 are the only options for these cells. So we definitely have a 6 or a 7 in here. We can't have all of 6, 7, and 8 in here for lots of reasons. That's right. 6 in column 2 is pink. Right. So Selena's spot is, I know one of these 4 cells is 6. If one of these cells is 6, then definitely one of these 3 is the 6 for pink. But if one of these is 6, we said that's 6. Which means that there's still a 6 here. So there's unconditionally a 6 in these 3 cells by examining those cases, which means that's not a 6, which means that blue grows again. So we've got that, which is quite interesting. So one world is that this is blue. In that case, that's a 2, and blue is done. The other case is that this isn't blue, in which case this isn't blue either, because this is some new region that grows up like this and needs to take that cell to avoid these 2 circles being the same. And so I guess this is a really convoluted way of saying there's a border here. Oh, 5 in row 2 by Sudoku is just placed, Isabella has spotted, because there's already a 5 in purple, and there's a given 5 being naughty there. So in fact, this is a 5, which means that these are a 3, 5, which means that these are a 4, 6. That is very delightful. So yeah, so we've got our 4, 6, and something else here. Let's see. Being told if this is a 5, it breaks this circle. Because this circle now would, so here's why. This circle would already see 4 things, but it could not see by Sudoku 4, 5, or 6 things, so it would need to see at least 7. So you'd go 5, 6, 7. That would all have to be red. And Martin's objection to this arrangement is that it makes red 10 cells at minimum. Which I can see Martin's dissatisfaction with that. So that's a 3, and that's a 5, and that's a 4, and that's a 6. And that's a border. And red comes down that far, and no further. Red does not go here. By the power of red does not go here. And let's see, we have hit the point where we've got to really scrape the bottom of the bucket for colors now. Let's see, we'll go with Hunter. We haven't had Hunter on the stream in a bit. Okay, and so Hunter has to grow down twice because Hunter is not a 3 or a 4. So those are both also Hunter. Let's see, and this cell is at least 6, and it's not a 7. So this is 6, 8, or 9 only. It always grows there at least, actually, because if it doesn't grow there, then these two are the same. Okay, so Jay wants me to investigate whether this cell can actually be Hunter. And so if this cell were Hunter, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells, 8 cells in green. And so we need one more cell in Hunter. And that would be a problem. It would be a problem because these two would be equal. Right. Yeah, so yeah, if these are Hunter, these two would be equal. I don't have to think any more about that. Sorry, I was doing what David was doing, which was suggesting that I needed to like contemplate how many sort of like blocks I had to throw at this circle and this circle to make them different, but I actually just needed to look at that circle and that circle. Okay, so this is not Hunter. If it's not blue, it contains a digit 2, because then the region grows here and grows out. However, it's not allowed to contain the digit 2, so it somewhat tragically means that blue is quite boring. I am sorry, blue. So we will apologize to blue for it being a sad region. I guess it's appropriate for the blue region to be sad. Maybe that's the actual etymology of using blue to mean sad. I'm not quite sure. So that is a 2. And you can prove that that's a 2 in 2 different ways. Zombie Hunter did it the opposite of the way I did. Zombie Hunter did it by Sudoku, and I did it by counting the circle. So this is now mathable, I am being told. And so it is a 5. So we've got that. This is also an 8 now. So that's going to give me an 8 over here, looking at those cells. Red has 2 more cells to go. Trying to decide if I knew something like it wasn't that one, but I don't think I do. Let's see. Oh, yellow has grown because of this cell. When we placed the 5, we just didn't notice. Yeah, David is saying the same thing. Yeah, that I was all on top of that deduction when the puzzle started, and then I lost track. So this is a 6, 7, or 8, I suppose. Depending on how far out this thing is going to go. I know the 1 in this column is in Hunter. Hey, Charlotte Lampos. So either these two are both Hunter or they're not. Right. These two can't be the same digit now. So because of that, that means that this cell needs to be yellow. But now these two can't be the same digit, David points out, because so that means this yellow needs to grow up here. And so now yellow is at 8 cells. So in particular, this is not an 8. It is only a 6 or a 7. And so this digit, therefore, is a 3 or a 4, I suppose. This, oh, sorry, no, this would be a 3 if it were yellow. Okay, so this is 5 or 6, I think. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, this is currently seeing 7 cells. So this is 7 or 8. It never sees everything. And so, yeah, so yellow certainly can't go there. Selena is pointing out, because if yellow goes there, that's the last cell of yellow, and then these two circles are the same. And so that lets me look at that. So this circle is a 3 or a 4 now because of that. I guess that was already true before, based on whether one of these is yellow or not. Let's see. Funnily enough, if this is yellow, both of these numbers are 3. Someone will double check that for me and convince me that it's wrong, but I think it's true. I think if this is yellow, then both of these numbers are 3, and that doesn't work. So I'm just going to X that over and move on with my life. Let's see. So yeah, so yellow could go there possibly. If this is orange now, orange has to go up. Oh, now that doesn't work anymore. This can't be orange anymore, because just imagine it's orange. It can't be a 4, so that would mean orange would have to go up. But it can't be a 5, so orange would have to go up. Oh, crap, never mind. Sorry, it could be a 6. Sorry, I was thinking it would end up being a 7, but I apparently forgot that there's a number between 5 and 7 was an issue. So that is tragic. Oh, yes. Okay, so yeah, so this can't be an 8. Let's do that first. This can't be an 8 because now it sees at most 7. And so that's a 6-7 pair, so that's a 1-8 pair. So we've got that. Oh, yeah, Martin has a ridiculous spot that is so ridiculous that I like it. If this cell is yellow, then now that 7 becomes orange by connectedness, and also that cell becomes a 6, so that cell becomes a 7 by Sudoku. So that does not work. We do have pretty colors today, which is exciting. Okay, so if orange doesn't take this, then this is a 7. If orange does take this, then that's not a 7. That's somehow not so helpful. If orange doesn't take row 7, column 4, it has 2 4s. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is ugly to me. It's all a matter of taste. But yeah, if this isn't orange, then if you play out in your head what happens, this thing grows, and then orange grows, and this thing grows, and then orange grows, and ultimately orange ends up this shape. And so then this number ends up also being 4. So that is orange, and then these two are orange by our previous arguments, and now orange is done. Like that. Okay, so these are some new region. We will bring out the sky over here. So this sky is either 3 or 4. Let's see. Oh, I can count now. Why don't I count? That's probably a good idea. This is a 7, and that's a 6. So that's a 5. And so that means this stops, which now means that that is a 7. Yes, there we go. And yes, so this is still a 3 or a 4. I still don't know which one. But I at least know all of that. This is a 6 by counting. Now, Martin would like me... Oh, sorry. Mekdi would like me to place 5 in orange, because 5 can't go in any of those cells, so that's a 5. So this is a triple I should probably plug in. So it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are 2, 3, and 9 ultimately. Good to know. Okay. I guess we've only got 4 of the digits here in yellow. So maybe I postpone pencil marking that one. We've certainly got A23 in here, but I don't think that quite works. Okay, so okay, so if this is not sky, then I think we much faster than this U-shaped one get that it breaks. Because if this isn't sky, then sky runs over like this, so this region runs over like this, and those two are the same. So that definitely is sky, which makes this circle 4, and this circle can't be 4, so the sky grows. And now 4 is placed in pink by our previous work. This number can't be 5 either by Sudoku, so the sky grows again. So this is 6, 8, or 9. Oh, 9 is just too big. I don't think that fits. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 just doesn't fit. So it's not 9, I can reveal. I have sources on the inside. I won't spoil whether it is GarlicBredFries or Xenonetix that is my source on the inside for the puzzle, but I have one. Okay. In column 2, Jack points out the other digit in purple is a 7 because I can't put the 7 anywhere else. Very good. So those are a 6, 7 pair. And that's useful because it now lets me fill in that digit's 7. Because I need a 7 in row 2 somewhere, and I certainly am not repeating the 7 in here. And I'll go ahead and fill in this quad, which contains a 1, an 8, a 2, and a 3. Let's see. So is this an almost naked single? Is that what people are claiming? So it's not a 1 because you can't put 1 in circles. It's not a 3, 4, or 7 by Sudoku. There are at least 3 cells it doesn't see, so it's never more than 6. It sees at least 3 cells already, so it's not a 2. So this cell is always a 5 or a 6. I'm being told it can't be 6. Oh, because if this is a 6, that's an 8, and blue is too big. So yeah, so if this is a 6, a kind of silly thing happens. Uh, which is I would have thought that cell would just become blue. Yeah, if it's 6, this cell just is blue. But the problem is that this arrangement would make both of these 6. So the way I saw it in my head was if this is 6, then that means I need all of this to be blue, and that doesn't work. Oh, sorry. No, I guess, sorry. I was miscounting my 6. So yeah, I guess even in my argument, then I need to still say that this isolates a cell because I can't count to 6. Counting to 6 is hard. So this is a 5. So if that is an 8, okay, so this can't be an 8 anymore is really the point. Because now if this is an 8, oh no, sorry, if this is an 8, that's saying the 5 doesn't go down at all. Oh, apparently we have 8 5s in the grid. That sounds exciting. We don't have an 5 in column 6 yet. Someone can probably find it. I bet it goes here. No. I bet it goes there. I found it. Okay. Yeah, the last 5 is in the other region, right? We can this can be good old carnival cake. We haven't had carnival cake in a puzzle in a little bit, so we'll invite carnival cake back to the puzzle. Whenever someone says they're watching and they can't listen for whatever reason, I always want to respond to them. And then I realize that I can't, and then I don't know what to do. So I believe AFK's point is that we have all 9 regions now, because if you look, we have 6 normal colors and 3 bespoke colors. Don't tell which colors they are. Don't tell the colors which are bespoke that they're not real colors and that they're bespoke colors. But you can count the 3 bespoke colors. And so that means we have all 9 regions. And so this cell has to belong to one of those regions. And the only one it can possibly be is carnival cake. Let's see. Can Hunter get around with, or can Hunter get away with doing that exactly? Is the question. It would make that cell a 3, that cell a 6. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I do see these can't both be carnival cake because one of them is yellow. So I think that means this cell's always carnival cake, actually. Because one of these 2 cells is yellow, and so if this is not carnival cake, then carnival cake is going to have to take them both and break yellow. So this cell is carnival cake, which is going to put up a border there. So we have that at least. Do I even actually know that one is? That one might actually also be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think. Oh no, it could go that way. Never mind. Row 6 column 9 is calculable now. Several people in chat have told me that it is 6. I am forced to believe them because I have not successfully counted to 6 so far in this puzzle. Let's see. I should probably fill in the remaining digits in this column because there's only 3 of them and one of them is a 1. The others are 7 and 8. And fun fact, that one's not 7. And I'm also going to fill in this quad, which consists of 1, 2, and 8, and 9, just for my sanity. So this cell actually is only 2, 3, 4, or 9, because it has to fit in Hunter. And you can conveniently see the numbers that aren't in Hunter in this column because they're the ones that show up in column 9. Well, that's almost a quad. Uh, oh, let's see. Charlotte Lamppost says I should look at 7s. Yeah, so 7 in the bottom region is placed, in fact, by Sudoku. It has to go there. And now I think I have 8 7s. Or, oh, sorry, I don't quite have 8 7s. The remaining 7 is in one of these 2 cells. It strikes me as unlikely, because the remaining 7 is Carnival Cake. It strikes me as quite unlikely that Carnival Cake gets its 7 in this cell, but I don't know that I'm prepared to place it. Or that I'm prepared to argue that aggressively. Let's see. These are 1, not 2, 3, 4, not 5, and 6, not 7 or 8. So those aren't... Sorry, that one's not 4. That one's not 6. Okay. We do have this circle left. I'm going to contemplate what it can be, because we might be able to force what it is just by contemplating the nature and purpose of its reality. So 2, 3, 4 can't be 5, 6, or 7. There's no way it's an 8, because there's no region that this could possibly be in that it is an 8. So this is only a 2, 3, or 4. Let's see. It can't be a 2 if it's in Carnival Cake. Oh, and it can't be a 2 if it's in Hunter either. So it's just never 2, sadly. So it is 3 or 4. If it's Carnival Cake, therefore... So these 2 cells are in the same... Oh, sorry, no, that's not true. Sorry, this could be Hunter and be a 3. Oh, apparently this cell also has a clue in it. David has spotted. We'll try it out. So by sphenage, this isn't 4, 5, or 7. You can't put a 1 in a circle. The most that this could possibly see, even in a fantasy world, is 6. So it's certainly not 8 or 9. So I definitely believe it is 2, 3, or 6. Now, I don't think 6 is actually possible, because if this were 6, I would need all of these cells to be in the same region, or all of these cells to be in the same region. And both of those are not possible, because they both create regions that are too many. So this only contains 2 or 3, actually. Okay, now, do I know for sure? So let's see. Codex says 2 also breaks. Couldn't be 2 and be somehow like Carnival Cake. A 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Something like that. Oh, right, I can't do that, right, because of the yellows, sorry. Sorry, that's because of the yellow. Yellow still needs a cell. So now I have to try and argue that it can't be that because yellow needs a cell. In some coherent way. But yeah, it couldn't be exactly that. But I'm not sure I want to try and say that I've broken it in everything that looks kind of like that. Yeah, that's exactly what AFK says. Is the thing is like I can draw something that looks close enough to working that it worries me about trying to make an airtight proof that it doesn't actually work in some conceivable universe. Uh, right. If this is 3, uh, that doesn't work for Hunter because Hunter needs to grow and Hunter would be done. If it's Carnival Cake, though, it's 3, right? Uh, 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 yeah, I think if it's cake, then it's okay. Uh, so this green is either sneaking up through here or sneaking down through here. Uh, 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 okay, so yeah, so people are noting this slight chain. If this is a 3, it's Carnival Cake. Uh, that forces this cell to be Carnival Cake because it can't be anything. And now the 3 is satisfied, so this cell has to be something, and it can only be yellow. But now that's a 3, and so people's argument is that breaks orange because the 3 in orange is definitely in one of these cells. So I agree that's a lot to try to put down to say that this is not a 3. Uh, so it's definitely a 4, but I'm not sure that I'm enthusiastic about using the deduction. Uh, let's see. If that 3-4 is cake, it breaks anyway. Uh, 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 okay, so there's a more sophisticated proof on the table that people would like to give, where the claim is that if this is Carnival Cake, these two are the same digit. So if this is Carnival Cake and it's 3, we have proven as part of our ugly proof that that is 3. Uh, if this is Carnival Cake and it's 4, then we can see that this is a 4. And so the proof that people are seeing here is these two are the same digit if this is Carnival Cake, and then people's argument is that digit doesn't go in row 8. Which I will give it to you is an incredibly clever proof, and I like it for its cleverness and originality. Although I don't dislike it as much as the other proof, although it still feels messy. Well, that digit could go in orange if it's a 4. The that digit doesn't go in orange was basically our proof that this isn't a 3 that we didn't quite use. Uh, Okay, so Garian's way of seeing it is to note these can't both be 3 because that would immediately break orange. So one of these two circles is 4, and whichever one it is rules 4 out of that cell. Uh, uh, and so now we ask where Hunter is getting the 4, given that it can't get it from there. And so if Hunter doesn't take this cell to get a 4, then Hunter, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Hunter would have to get a 4 in this direction, but it can't because there's nowhere that could be a 4 because of where the 4s happen to be in the grid. Basically, the 4s perfectly lock out Hunter from getting a 4 up here with almost surgical precision. So now Hunter has to go down to get a 4. Uh, so that cell is Hunter, and as noted, by virtue of being Hunter, it can't be 3 because then Hunter would be done. So this cell is a 4. I don't think we know which of these cells is the next Hunter cell in the hit series, but we at least know that Hunter has to grow. Uh, uh, Yeah, that was pretty nice. These 2, 3, 4 cells can't both be 3, so one of them is 4. It's funny that it had nothing to do with geometry. Like Garian's argument was not related in any way to geometry. It was pure Sudoku, funnily enough. So like it was an argument really just on 2 bi-value cells. Uh, uh, Yes. So this is either green or it isn't. And so AFK's point is that means these two are in the same region, because if it's green, then green needs to continue this way because it can't go that way. And if it's not green, then whatever it is has to get out, and it becomes carnival cake. And I think the same thing happens up here, where if this is green, that's not green because of the 4. And so then the green has to escape out this way. And if this isn't green, then whatever it is does have to escape out this way. So we know we've got some sort of like these things are the same color kind of business. And they're not all carnival cake for what it's worth. Let's see. I was trying to get that to interact with the 2 or the 3. I mean, it seemed like the kind of thing that could be useful AFK. Like, it would not surprise me. Let's see. Eichsler asks about row 5, column 6. Does it have to be carnival cake, or can it be something else? So it's definitely not Hunter. I don't think it can be blue. Yeah, I think this cell literally can only be carnival cake. I think Eichsler is correct. Because if it tries to join sky, then it forces me to connect this to sky, and sky becomes too many cells. So I do think this cell is a naked single carnival cake. You can thank me later for that image being in your mind. So let's see. Playmaker is saying that this, if this goes down even 1, it also takes that. Do I know for sure it isn't this? Uh, Oh, right. That wouldn't work, right? That doesn't work because of that cell. Uh, so basically what we know is the 5 either goes directly that way or directly that way. Uh, yeah, is it possible that that cell is carnival cake? Uh, not unless carnival cake gets to be 10 cells. So yeah, so this cell is only able to be sky, I believe. Uh, okay, so the 5 either goes straight down, making this a 3, or straight right. Uh, it needed to connect AFK in that unit. In that universe, it needed to take the bottom, because in order to connect here, I needed the yellow to take this cell. Because remember, Carnival Cake can't take both of these. If Carnival Cake could take both of those, it could be Carnival Cake, but it's not allowed to. I wasn't even using the 2-3 circle. I was just using yellow, but the 2-3 circle would also break. Uh, hey, Drilier, how are you doing? Why can't it be a 2 and be Carnival Cake? Does this go back into our argument of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Like like, do I have to say that this breaks because of how blue grows? Because I can see that, but that's the sort of look ahead I usually try to avoid. Uh, uh, but so I think the point is to ask about it this way. What is this cell? It's either blue or Carnival Cake. If it's blue, then this cell's a 3. If this is Carnival Cake, then we know that Carnival Cake does that, and this has to be a 3. If you ask it that way, then it doesn't require any weird look aheads. So this is a 3, I agree, which makes that a 4, which is makes that yellow and finishes yellow. There we go. Now this is Carnival Cake. And this is Carnival Cake, so that's Carnival Cake. And so that's Hunter, and that's Hunter. It's because it would break that clue. David is the reason. I only know the answer because I asked chat that before, because I didn't see it, and then they explained it to me. So we get that. Okay, so now this can't be Carnival Cake. So now this must be blue. And the sky is done. I almost think it can't be a smooth finish from here because it was rated as 5 stars. So I kind of suspect it's going to be a bumpy finish from here, but Maybe not. Who knows? This is now a 6. Uh, let's see. Okay, and so we can fill in the rest of yellow, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Let's see. People are asking about 2 and Hunter. Has to go there. These have to be a 3-9 pair, I believe, to finish off Hunter. That 3-9 pair looks over at that cell and that cell, which makes that cell a 9. It makes that cell a 3. It's also possible that this puzzle is just old, and that it is therefore rated a little bit weird. So that is a 9. These are a 2-3 pair. Row 8 has an octopus. Very good. 2, 3. It is a 4 is what it is missing. So this is a 1 or an 8. Let's see. That's not a 3. That's not an 8. Let's see. Let's fill in these cells while we're at it. These are a 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Well, those aren't 8, 9, so these aren't 1, 2. So that is 8 and 9. That isn't an 8. This is just a 1. 2, 1, 3. Okay, so that's not a 1. That's not a 1 or a 2. Let's see. Red needs an 8 or a 9, which it cannot get in either of these two cells. So red needs this cell in order to get its other 8, 9. If it doesn't take this cell, then red can't get its other 8, 9. That doesn't mean the other 8, 9 has to go in this cell. It just means that cell's definitely red. So there we go. Okay, that's a 4. Let's see. Let's fill in these digits, actually. So we're missing 7, 8, 9, and 2. There we go. So this is a 2, 8, or 9. The red 2 is also over here, right? Red needs a 2, right? So actually, red just can't get any of the digits it's missing. Red is missing a 2, 8, and 9, and they're all here in this row already. So these cells just can't be red, and therefore they join the carnival. And having gone off and joined the carnival, they're done, and so now red is also done. So this is not a 7 by that fact, which means this is a 7 by the row. That's not a 7. That's a 1-8 pair in the row of all things. Maybe we could color 1-8s if we're obligated to. This column is missing 1, 2, and 6, it looks like. Which gives me a whole lot of nothing. Let's see. 3 is quite restricted in here. It's in one of those two cells, at least. And it seems to not be in that one. Yes. 3 is exactly there. This is why I corner marked it, because I was betting that I was just blindly missing one of them, which I was. I hope you've been well, Xenonetix. And glad that you could catch the tail end of the solve. It will be there on VOD for you. This is a 6 or a 7. This is a 1 or an 8. So this is the other 1-8 in here. But I guess I already knew there was a 1-8 pair in this row. This is a 2 or a 3, Egbert points out. But it's not a 3, so it's just a 2. And that's a 3, and that's a 2. So we get that. Row 9 has a 1-6 pair, so that places that as a 3. We get to put a 1-8 pencil mark in another cell. There's a 1-6 pair in this column, so that makes that a 2. Very good. let's see. Okay, so we're missing a 1, 6, an 8, and a 4, I believe. And there's only one spot the 4 can go, which is there. Okay, that was the last 4 in the grid, so I probably worked harder for that than I needed to. That's a 1, 6, 8 triple, so that makes that a 7, and a 6 and a 7. And my 1, 6, 8 triple also rules 8 out of that cell. So this is the other 2 or 9. In fact, I can just fill in these digits. These are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So actually, that's a naked single 9 once I figure that out. So that is an 8, it would seem. Sorry, is an 8. 2 and 9. And 6 and 2. And 1 and 6. And 8 and 1. And 8 and 1. And 8 and 1. 1, 8, 1, 8, and 6. That was an absolutely lovely chaos construction. I have no complaints about that puzzle. We fought to find the clean version of some of the deductions, because there were some places where I saw, or you saw as a chat, saw something that I thought was a little like the puzzle deserved better, but we always found something better. That was really gorgeous. Very nice. So I'm going to take a quick break, though, just to stretch, and I'll be back shortly with another puzzle. So see you all in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We have a Tallcat yin-yang. Tallcat does not often do pencil puzzle hybrids, but they are neat when they happen. So I'm excited to see what we have done here. Oh no, Kodak is talking about the frustration of breaking a puzzle over and over again. Oh, it's always so bad. It's kind of like you just want to be like, okay, well, this is good enough. It's close enough. I'll just like have it pop up a like yay message when you have entered all the digits I want you to enter, and then go on from there. Alrighty, so we need to divide the grid into shaded and unshaded cells, which will be probably light blue and yellow for my purposes. Are usually the pair that I'll use, such that each region forms a single orthogonally connected area, and no 2x2 area in the grid can be covered by a single region. Okay, so standard yin-yang rules. Also, killer. Digits may not repeat in cages. Given digits in the top left corner are the sum of the unshaded digits minus the sum of the shaded digits. So in that case, I think I'm going to use blue and red. I'm going to use the light blue and the red so that red means negative, blue means positive as we do this. So we can keep track of it. So assuredly, yeah. So I am going to go ahead and put on the dashed grid for now. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. I was going to do that, but I somehow have found the secret trick to make killer cages even uglier. So we're not going to do that. Forget you saw anything. There's definitely a border here because I cannot make this as a sum of two positive numbers. And also, this -3 cage here also needs to have a border break in it somewhere. I don't know where. But the point, the reason why Martin points this out is because in any yin-yang puzzle, it is known the border only has two pieces. And the reason for that has to do with the connectedness. So if you imagine a world where maybe it seems like I could give you this grid, and ask you, hey, finish this grid so that all the yellows are connected, all the greens are connected, and there are no checkerboards. But you could not do it, and the reason why is that if you connect the yellow to the yellow, then it has become impossible to connect the green to the green. And likewise, if you connect the green to the green, it's become impossible to connect the yellow to the yellow. So you can't do this. You can only have one contiguous yellow group and one contiguous green group on the border. So sort of somehow there's some sort of like meta theorem that the connectedness of the blobs extends to the connectedness of the boundary. Someone can write down the topological version that involves Stokes' theorem or something. But anyway, so the point is I know that there are borders there, and therefore I don't know what color it is, but I know that all of those are the same color, and I know that all of these are the same color. And then we might be able to figure out which of these things is positive and which of them is negative if we look closely. If this is negative, that it's these together. I have to think about these together, is Garian's point. So if purple is negative, then these add to at least -21, because it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at minimum. And so at least -21, that would mean I would need to get these two cells to add to at least 28. And I'm going to have a problem making two cells in a Sudoku sum to 28. So that will indeed give us that these are positive, and these are negative. Boop. And we can complement things like Jay says, as well as filling in some 2x2s. This 4 assuredly needs that. I can't write down 4 positive digits that sum to -1. Sorry, I can't do that, so that needs to be negative. And now by the magic of the 2x2s, we get that. We've got some more 2x2s over here. Now we've got our friend the no checkerboard rule. The no checkerboard rule is a consequence of the same connectivity thing, by the way. It's not, I call it a rule. It's not actually a rule. But you can't actually ever have a checkerboard pattern. So by which I mean I can't do that. Somehow I got a white in there. And the reason for that is, again, if I connect the red to the red, I make it impossible to connect the blue to the blue. So it's very much like, I'm sure you could come down with I'll task Selena with it, to come down with a theorem that generalizes both of those. So we'll put that back there. Okay, and so now I probably don't need any more to draw in the borders. So now there's a 2x2 threat down here. So now that is red. Let's see. Okay. The column 9-3 is going to be hard to do if I put a 4th positive number in here. Very good. Okay. So we've got that. There's certainly a red cell in here. There's certainly a red cell in one of these. Let's see. Do I really want to math this cage? I mean, I'll be honest, I really don't. But should I math this cage? Probably. So these sum to at least 6. But I couldn't do 6 minus 3 because that's too many. So I need to at least make this a 4. Oh, you know what I should do? I should do the math I did down here already. The minimum sum here is oh, Martin's suggesting wisely that I do it not down there, but over here, where these sum to at least 21, which means that I need to make these sum to at least -17, because the total of these cages is 4, and so I actually have to do that exactly. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these are 8, 9. Oops. There we go. So we can fill in our 7, 8, 9 over there. Okay. So one of these is a 7. And also, I'm not going to be able to add a positive digit to this and make it work out to be a sum of 6, I don't think. Because if I do, the minimum sum here is 15. So there it would be, yeah, because everything else in this box is only from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I add another positive digit here, if this is blue, the minimum sum is 16. I'm not going to get to 6 with only one more red digit. So that's red, which makes that blue to avoid a 2x2. Let's see. The minimum sum here is 10. So I need to make at least a -6. So this is certainly 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. I have a 7 here, corner marked up here, so this isn't a 7, is really what Garion is saying. So those are an 8, 9 pair, which means that this is 6 or 7 only, which means now the minimum sum here is 11. And so with these are 1 and 2. And so if I make these sum to 11, then I need to use the 7. Oh, yeah. It's just has to be minimized, right? Yeah, I have to minimize it. So I think I have to do 1, 2, 8 minus 7, right? There's no way I can get smaller, right? So let me bring out Zach for the 8 dance. Ba-boop ba-doop. Woo! Ba-doop ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop ba-doop. Ba-doop 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 ba-doop. Wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Big Z is waiting for one of the dances he can do to come up. So these are not 1, 2, of course. That is an 8. So that means that these sum to 11. So they have to be 5, 6 in order to sum to 11. So that means none of these are 5, 6, which means those are a 3, 4 pair. So these aren't 3 or 4. So now this cage, if you look at it, we need to get to a sum of 1. What did I do? I did something wrong. Oh, it's because there's another cell in the cage. That's what I did. Okay, so all of my calculation was correct. I just can't look at the puzzle. I see. Yes, I said these two need to be 11 to make this work, but I was failing to note that this digit is also in the cage. That is what happened. So these 3 need to sum to 10. So they either have a 1 in them or they are 2, 3, 5 exactly, which would make that a 2 for what it's worth. But that's probably not a useful area to press. Let's see. Okay, so now these positive numbers are a minimum of 3, 4, 5, which is 12. So yeah, these have to be 3, 4, 5 minus 9 is the only way I can make that work. And so now these are 6, 7, and 9, except these two are the same parity, so they have to be 7 and 9, meaning that's 6. Oh, and I even know which is 7 and which is 9, because it's the positive one that is 9. If you're into that kind of thing, which I know some of you are. Don't worry, I don't kink shame here. Okay. So let us have a look at what you might ask. That is a good question. So let's see. These numbers can be something. Oh, yes, I probably should do this math because these sum to 16, so these need to sum to 10. Very good. Yes, Daniel points this out. So I need to make these sum to 10, and the only way to do that is as 4, 6. So these are not 4 or 6. For what it is worth. Which seems like the kind of thing that you would think would be useful. I mean, This number here needs to be at least 4, and it can't actually be 4. So maybe I should actually write in what this can actually be, but I don't really want to. So Martin's point is if this is red, then my checkerboard means that's red as well. And the minimum sum of the negatives is 6, and the maximum value of the positive is 8. And so that does not get me to the 8 I would need. So this is blue, which then makes that red, which then makes that blue to avoid a 2 by 2, which then makes that blue by checkerboarding. Let's see. I have to keep in mind these numbers are, well, at least one of them is pretty small. I don't know about the others. Yes. Okay, so Garian's point is that I should look at the 9 at the bottom of the grid, because if I look at this, the minimum sum of these is 6, which would require that to be a 9, but it can't be because of Sudoku. Or putting a 1, 2, 3 triple here actually even breaks those cells if you prefer to look across the row rather than down the column. So the red extends at least one more. Let's see. This cell can only possibly be an 8 or a 9, right? Because these need to sum to at least -6. And so at most -7. So that means that these cells are certainly from 1, 2, 3, 4, and they include a 1 and a 2, which is interesting in terms of what it does to the row. So we suddenly got some pretty big pressure on so if this cell is red, I guess that's still okay. Probably still okay. Let's see. These can't both be blue. If they could both be red, I think that would be hunky-dory. If this is red, then this is red, which would force that to be blue, and I'd need these to be quite small in order to make that work. And they couldn't be too small, or I've got a problem. But I don't really want to go aggressively into case checking that. I think I probably could prove that it breaks column 9 if I try and make both of these red. Okay, there we go. That is much better. Selena points out, I know that these can't be both red or both blue. So these are one of each. We can bring back our border from before. And so if these are one of each, then we've got 3 reds, which sum to a minimum of -6. And so then the digit that I have with it has to be an 8 or a 9. So in other words, these are also from 1, 2, 3, 4, giving us the quad that Selena mentioned, and these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. 8 and 9, and we know there's a 1 and a 2 in here somewhere. And so that gets us a 5, and then 7, 8, 9. And these are, in fact, the 5-8 pair. So these are not 5 or 8 in what feels like a very tall catty Sudoku moment. Okay, so the quad left in this box is 1, 2, 3, 4, actually. So that means that this digit had better be positive because I can't even get these two to sum to 8, never mind the fact that I need to subtract something. So that needs to be positive. That's going to be negative because of the 2 by 2 business. Let's see. I could be subtracting 1, so I don't actually... well, I need this to be at least 5, right? Because the maximum these two can sum to is 7 minus 1. Sorry. If this is not at least 5, the maximum these can sum to is 9 minus 1. Which I guess is 8. Never mind. So this could be a 2, 3, 4. Well, it's not a 3, 4, 5. I can tell you that much. Yes. If this is red, Selena points out, that's also red by checkerboard, and now I can't get to positive 7. So that has to be blue. And now this red needs to extend out because it needs to be connected to its friends, and it won't be if I cut it off there. Let's see. So, yeah. So, weirdly, there's a bizarre 8-9 pair in these cells because they can't both be 1, 2, 3, and they can't both be 1, 2, 4. Oh, here's a point. This cell's not a 3 or a 4 because I needed to have used the 3 or 4 in the column here. This cell's not a 3 or a 4. In fact, none of these cells are 3 or 4 because I need to have used the 3 or 4 in the quad in the column. So I can kick out those. I see. So, people are trying to get me to say something about Sudoku and 8s in box 1. And in particular, that if this is an 8, it makes that an 8, and these two boxes. So this comes back to the, like, weirdo 8-9 pair thing. And so, I'm trying to figure out the elegant way to say the weirdo 8-9 pair thing. It's certainly true this can't be 8 because it would make that 8, and they would both need to be wait, what? How did this work? Yeah, they would both need to be 2, 3. Yeah, 8 minus 1, 2, 3, or 9 minus 1, 2, 4. Yeah, they would need to be 8 minus 1, 2, 3, and I couldn't put a 4 in the column. Wherever there's a 4, there's a 9 that matches it. Yeah. I understand that, Gary. And I was just trying to find an elegant way to say it that wasn't if you put an 8 here, then by Sudoku it places an 8 there, and then that doesn't work because you can't put a 4 in the first column because that feels hacky. But I mean, there it definitely doesn't work because if you follow that chain, you put a 1, 2, 3 quad in column 1. But I was trying to find something that was more positive looking rather than chainy, to say that couldn't be an 8. Like I was looking at like I know, for example, this cell can't be an 8 or a 9, uh, because it sees the 8, 9 pair in those two things, but that and like this cell can't either. So I was trying to find a way to say this that got me there, but I don't think it quite does. Uh, uh, so uh, so we have that. Uh, uh, but yeah, once you have that, then maybe you mutter something about where are 8 and 9 in column 2 and argue that if these are an 8, 9 pair, uh, the world is somehow flawed. Anyway, I believe it. I don't feel I don't feel how to I don't feel the right way to look at it. If the whole like if this is an 8, that's an 8, and you can't put the thing in the column, it doesn't feel like a natural deduction to have in the puzzle. But it's certainly a correct deduction to have in the puzzle. So we can do that. But I bet there's a better way to phrase it than the way that we were phrasing it. So that gets us that. Like that. And now that is read by checkerboard shenanigans. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, was to use the fact that I very much liked the observation that one had the 8 and one had the 9, David. I was just trying to get it to I was trying to get a clean version that didn't involve the Sudoku look ahead. Was the part that I didn't like. I liked the using the fact that it had to be an 8, 9 pair, and using the virtual weird 8, 9 pair thing was sort of what I was trying to get better involved. Uh, let's see. If I knew there was a 3, 4 in here, then I would have a virtual 3, 4 pair. But I don't quite get there. Let's see. Eichsler says this can't be read because I'd only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so I would be say I would have 1, 5, 6 would be the absolute best I could do, and 1, 5, 6 is already minus 12, and so even a 9 here. Actually, wouldn't a 9 there get me exactly to minus 3 if this were 1, 5, 6? I think I might be able to do 1, 5, 6, 9 and have it be okay. Oh, right. Sorry. 5 is in this. Right. Sorry. 5 is in this. 1, 6, 7. Yeah. 1, 6, 7 is the best. Right. Sorry. We've got 4 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can only use 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 6, 7 is the best. And then that definitely doesn't work. So I agree. So we can blue that. Let's see. I agree. The row 1 cage has an 8. And it also has a 7 or a 9. Oh, this cell isn't a 4. I'm going to go ahead and mark because there's a 4-6 pair looking at it, and that seems like the kind of thing that could be relevant since we've been spending this whole time talking about where the 4 is in column 1. There's a 1 or a 2 in this cage. The 9 in box 1 is actually only in one of these two cells. Those are the only places it can possibly be. I don't know if that's interesting. It could be setting up a geometry thing. Oh, I'm being told that this cell is limited. So we'll do the same thing we always do when someone says a cell is limited. We'll remove the Sven digits. We'll remove that. And so can say it is 1, 2, 6, or 8. The maximum sum of these cells is 3, 4, which is 7, plus 8 is 15. So if the maximum sum of these is 15, then I can't have this possibly be larger than 7, so it can't be an 8. So could it be a 6? If this were a 6, I would need to make these 3 cells sum to 14. That seems plausible. Tallcat is pointing out I know one of these is 1, 2 because that 1, 2 is in these 2 cells by Sudoku. So actually, the maximum of these 2 is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. So this can't be a 6 because it would... Oh, sorry, no. I was going to say it would repeat the 6, but the 6 was a 2 and a 4. Never mind. So this can be a 6, I think. Let's see. If this is a 1 or a 2, it goes exactly there, I think, in this box. Just by Sudoku. Yeah, it goes exactly there in the box by Sudoku. I don't think that's interesting at all, but it's true. I need these to sum to at least 9, but I still don't think that tells me very much. I do know that's not 9. It's not 3, 4, or 5. So we've got that. And so I think these can still be 2, 3, 4, 1, I think is annoyingly a possibility. Oh no, that they can't be 2, 3, 4, 1 because there's not a 3, 4 here. Okay, right. So this actually can't be a 1 or a 2. Because if this is if I used a 1, if I stick to only numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, then the biggest I could get is not 2, 3, 4 anymore because this can't be a 3 or a 4. And so, and I can't make these a 3, 4 pair because of Tallcat's point that it would break that cell which goes in them. So this isn't a 1 or a 2. We need at least it being a 6, 7, or 8. Now, Tallcat claims it can't be 7. Okay, but I think we can now rule out 6 from this cell, because now the minimum sum of these is 9. Sorry, now the maximum sum of these is that what I'm supposed to do? 8 plus... Yeah, now the maximum sum is 14. I guess that still works. Yeah, that still works. But if this is 6, it rules 6 out of this. Does that work? Is Daniel's question. Because if this is a 6, now I need these two to sum to at most at most 10, or sorry, I need these to sum to at most 4. So I would have to do 613. 6132. Does 6132 not work? Uh, uh, I'd say that, except it was directly where the setter told us to bash, Selena. But I agree we're doing a lot of bashing instead of logic and solving. Uh, let's see. But Tallcat claimed this couldn't be 7, and I don't think I know why this can't be 7. Uh, 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 but we shall get there eventually. Uh, row 8, column 4 is never 1. Right. If this is a 1, I would need to make the sum here 9, which I would have to make 2, 3, 4, and that definitely doesn't work because of the not repeating digits thing. So I agree with Todd. That is always a 2 or a 6. So if I use a 2 over here, then the sum is definitely 14. And so I use 2, 4, 8. So that's one option. If I use a 2 here, it's 2, 4, 8 with a -6. If I don't use a 2 over here, yeah, so I guess, yeah, so Kurabon's encouraging us, instead of doing it this way, force it the other way. So instead of forcing, so I'm forcing this by asking whether there's a 2 here or not. Kurabon wants us to force it by looking at this digit. So if this digit is a 6, we've proven it's 2, 4, 8. If this digit is a 2, then I need to make these 3 sum to 10 without a 2, which will always have a 1, and can't have a 2 because this was a 2. So the only option would be 1, 3, 6. So yeah, so Kurabon has a proof by cases using sort of universe land to say that we've got these sort of 2 different visions of what the world could look like. And in one of those, these are a 1, 3, and in the other, they're a 2, 4. And in one of them, this cell is a 6, and in the other, it's an 8. So it's never a 7. That is messy as all get out. Let's see. Yes, this cell can't be 7 for funny reasons, because if this cell is 7, then these 2 digits have to add to 0, and they cannot. And so, therefore, the 7 gets placed exactly there. And so, for the same reason as it couldn't go here, it can't be a positive 7. It has to be a -7. Because if it was a positive 7, these 2 would have to be the same digit. That is very nice. Let's see. So now this had better be positive, because otherwise I'm never getting anywhere close. I'm trying to get to 14. And so these have to be 6, 8 is the only way that works. Because 7, 7's not going to work, and 5, 9's not going to work. And so that gives me a 6, 8 pair, which makes that a 2. And so we can remove that. And so now I'm summing to 10. So I have to use a 1. And so if I'm using a 1, I'm also using a 3 with a 6, is what we said previously. 5 and 8. That is a 4 and a 2. And so we get that. So that's a 1. Oh, I agree. This blue has to get out. And I can't make that also blue, so that's red while we're doing things. 4, 6 go in over there. Okay. The 1-3 pair looks up and makes that a 2. Agree. So one of those is a 1. That is okay. No 1 over there. These are a 2, 3, 5. Yeah, same joke that we had with the 7, which was very cute, which is if this is a 3, then these two need to be the same digit in order to make the cage total work. So this isn't a 3. And so if we just write in everything it can be, it's not a 3, and it's not a 1 because there's a 1-2 pair. So we can fill in all of that. That step is very cute. This can't be a 7 step I was not a fan of, but I like the repeated, I liked the this can't be a 7 step, and likewise the this can't be a 3 step. So here we're adding to 10, and we have a 3 involved. So this is only a 1 or a 2, given that we're going with a 5 or a 6. Oops, I don't know what I did. So this isn't a 6. It's not a 4 or a 5 either. Okay, right. This is a 1 or a 2. Oh, this has become a 6 and a 4. There is no 3 involved here in my sum to 11. I don't know as much about 3-cell sums to 11. I'm going to level with you. This 3-cell sum to 11 definitely has a 4 in it, though. So I've got a 4 and then a 2-cell sum to 7. And so the 2-cell sum to 7. It's also got a. Oh, sorry. It's either 2, 5 or 1, 6. Does one of those break this? Because this is either. Oh, no, sorry. It's both ways. It's 2, 5 or 1, 6. So one of them is a 2, 5 and one of them is a 1, 6. Got it. Okay. So tragic. People are enthusiastic about this digit, which is a 1. I will do it for David. Let's see. So this digit is 1 more than this digit. So there's like a Kropke dot here with a greater than Kropke dot if you want. Strangely, I don't think I've ever seen like directioned Kropke dots, which seems like it would be a really natural mechanic to play with. But anyway, this is 1 more than this. So this isn't a 2, is what I have concluded, because it would make that a 1 and would break that. Let's see. We've got a lot of a 1, 2, 3, 5 quadruple here. Heavy Kropke is the name. Okay. It does not surprise me that someone has thought of this before. Apparently Todd says if I actually fully pencil mark it, there's only 2 options. So it can't be 2, 1. I think it can be 3, 2. I don't see why it can't be 4, 3, but Sven does. Sven claims there's a 4 looking at this cell somehow. Oh, because there's already 1 in the cage. Got it. Yes. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Sven. Can't be 4, 3. Can't be 5, 4. can't be 6-5 or 7-6. So can't be 8-7 because there's a 7. So yeah, so it is that or it is 9-8. Those are the two options. Uh, uh, okay. So, 3 column 2 is 3, 5, or 6. I agree. This is 3, 5, or 6. Okay, so the sum of this cage is odd. I'm being encouraged to think about parity of the first row. So those have an odd sum, even, odd. And so the rest of the sum of the row has to be even for what it's worth. But I don't even know exactly what to do with that. I do know there's a 6 in one of these two cells. I should probably mark. Let's see. There's a 9 in one of these two cells, has been pointed out. Uh, I do know this red has to get out either this way or this way. I don't think that does a lot for me, though. Trying to decide if I can do anything else with these. I do see that this cell cannot be a blue 0 or a red 0. This 9 was negative. I would need to make the other cells 6, 8, which sounds like it would be the kind of thing that would actually be very convenient. So yeah, Daniel gives a couple of the options, which might or might not be all the options. Let's see. Laura's pointing out 2 is restricted in box 5. It sure is. To one of those two cells, which means that's not a 2 either. So actually, the 2 in this column is in one of those two spots. I guess this cell isn't ever 5, actually. Because if this cell was 5, remember that means I would need a 2. So actually I have a weirdo 1-2 pair. So we can take the 1 out. Because the 2 goes with the 5. And so if I put the 5 there and I can't make either of those 2. So I think Laura's point may have been the key. Although now I'm not sure what to do with that. But the fact that that was a 1-2 pair seemed useful. I guess I can now point out I guess this was been known for a bit. One of these two is 1, so the 1 in this row is actually in one of these two cells. Oh, okay. So sorry. I think Emma's point was not to use the rule of 45 for the row. I think Emma's point was just to use the sum of this cage is odd, and this cage definitely contains 6 and 8. And so this cage contains only one additional odd number, because if it contained 2, it would have the wrong sum. And so the point is, Emma also knows the odd number is the other 7, 9 for the row. And so there can't be a 5. So the 5 in the row is in fact over here, which means that cell is not a 5. So I agree with that. Did that do anything? Uh, hmm. Oh, I see. The benefit was ruling the 5 out of that cell. Let's see. Selena would like a marking of this cell. It can only seemingly be 5, 7, or 8. If it's 7 or 8, then that gives us a 789 triple in the box, which is kind of interesting. I guess maybe this cell's also more restricted than it looks. Maybe not hugely. Oh, we're using the fact that these sum, if I sum the cages to an odd total, and I know this sums to an odd total, so I know these two are the same parity. Is that what you're doing, Selena? Uh, oh, Tallcat is helping me with some Sudoku and pointing out that there's a 6 in one of these two cells, so this cell definitely isn't a 6. Oh, wait, does one of them... Why can't they both be odd? I guess they would be a 5-7 pair. If they're odd. So these are either a 5-7 pair or one of them is odd. Sorry, these are either a 5-7 pair or one of them is 4. Yes. Okay, yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah, so so Selena's proof is these two are the same parity, and which we argued by the sort of box math. But if they are if they're odd, that doesn't work because all 5 of these cells are from 5, 7, 8, 9, and that's too many cells from 5, 7, 8, 9. So, in fact, neither of these is odd. They're both even. So they're both from 4, 6, 8. That one is only from 4, 6, in fact. Do I know that they're not 6, 8? Because Selena said there had to be a 4 in one of these, which would be useful, but I don't see why they can't be 6, 8. Okay, so Garian's point is, can we really put an 8 into this 5 cage with a 9? Because 8 and 9 differ by only 1. So in order to get to a total of 5, we'd have to include a 4 or a 6. But this cell can't be 4 or 6 because there's a 4 corner marked there and a 6 corner marked there. So we can't actually put the 8 there. So we have to put the 8 there with a 9 there, and the 7 there, and the 9 there, which will finally get us our thing. Very wisely spotted. So no 8 there. So now that's a 9. So these two things need to sum to 7. So there's no 3 in them. So those are a 1, 4 pair. And that's an 8. So these don't have a 4 in them. So those are a 2, 3 pair. So that's not a 3. So yeah, so those are a 4, 6. And so the 4, 6 pair places the 6 in this box, which makes that a 5 and a 7 and a 3. 9 and 7. Yes, we do have a Zackwing on 4s, right? So those 4s align, which lets us place the 4 here. These are from 1, 2, and 5, I think. And seemingly of those, that one can only be 5. So that's the other one, too. Column 8 now has a 1, 2 pair. Good. Column 3 now only has 1 digit left. Good. It is an 8. There's an 8 in this row somewhere. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. So, Martin is now proving this can't be 5, because if it was plus 5, this would be 9 and negative 5. And if this is negative 5, I would need plus 9 and plus 1, but there's a 1, 2 pair. So 5 doesn't go there. 5 only goes there, which makes that a 3. It makes that a 2 and a 3. So we can fill all of these in now. Apparently that can only be a 4 now. Gorgeous. Okay. So hopefully that sums to -3, and it does. Good. So fortunately, I got to do that without having to do too much math. It just sort of worked itself out. Let's see. So now we've got I guess all of these I can also fill in, keeping in mind that there's a 1-2 pair in this row. So those are actually a 3-7 pair, making that 6. And so now I've got, the 7. The 7 is equal to 4 plus 3, but we don't know which way it works. So I think this has got to be plus 6 and plus 2 and minus 1 and minus 5. I don't think there's another way it works. Oh, no, there is. It could be plus 1, 2, 5 and minus 6, except it can't be plus 1, 2, 5 because these can't both be blue. So 1 of 1, 2, and 5 is red, which means that I need the 6 to be blue, I think. I don't think I gave a really coherent proof of that, but good enough. Yes. Garion says this can't be red because if it was, this would also be red. And we've already used all the positive 14s that we can place in the puzzle. So that's blue. Let's see. We've got a 2x2 to avoid. Good. Oh, this is a naked single. Let's fill it in. It seems to be a 3. If I made this a plus 3, I would have to make that a minus 7. And if I make this a minus 3, I'll have to make that a minus 1. Well, that doesn't work. So I better do the plus 3 and the minus 7, because there's a 1-2 pair in the box. So that is a 7. This cell is certainly a 5 or a 6 of some description or other. Okay, this cell appears to be a naked single, so I will fill it in. 5, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1, 7, 2, 8. Okay, so if I make the 7 negative, I create a checkerboard. Because if the 7 is red, these have to both be blue, and that's just a checkerboard right on the spot. So the 7 is blue, which means these two are both red. Which means that's red to avoid creating a checkerboard, which means that's blue to avoid creating a 2x2, and that's blue to avoid creating a checkerboard. Let's see. That has finally become a 5, so that is a 6, and we needed these to sum to 10, so that's a 1. Let's see, this is a 5, and the 5 cannot also be blue, or we need to make this 1 and 2 sum up to a lot more than 1 and 2 traditionally sum up to. And so this is now blue. These currently sum to +1, so I need these to sum to +1, which is going to require that I do that. Like that. This red is going to connect through one of these. I see the problem. If I make... it involves filling in that this is a 7. If I make this cell red, then I have to make that cell red and this cell blue, and that creates a checkerboard. So I'll make this cell blue instead, which means that cell is blue and that cell is red. There is a 2x2 there to make that all work. And now this red has to connect down there, and we're done our yin-yang. I wanted to be sure I finished the yin-yang before I finished the Sudoku, or it would look bad. And we don't want to make tall cats look bad. There we go. And a 4. And there we go with our positives and our negatives. Although, notably, Tall Cat avoided mentioning negative numbers in the rule set, presumably so that there would not be the question of whether you could have both a 3 and a -3 in a killer cage together, of whether that counted as repeating a digit or not. That's my guess as to why Tall Cat did not phrase the rule the way that I likely would have, which is that digits on one side of the yin-yang count as positive and on the other side of the count as negative. I did enjoy the repeated trick with the how these things work. The like, oh, this can't be a +7 in a 7 cage. Part of me wants to see a version of this puzzle that gives only the absolute value of the sum of the cages rather than giving the plus or minus. But another part of me also thought that this puzzle was already slightly gritty for my taste. So I'm a little worried that that version of the puzzle might be even grittier. But it appeals to me to have that sort of that idea. But very nice execution here. The setting yin-yangs is an absolute pain in the butt. You don't have to disambiguate positive and negative is the nice thing, Selena. Yin-yangs, for me, yin-yangs do not have a shaded and unshaded. They have two different collective groups. And if you only give the absolute value, you don't have to distinguish between positives and negatives. It's just one and to other. So that appeals to me more. Of course you can. I mean, there are yin-yangs that do distinguish, like this one, that do distinguish between the two, which is why I gave them special colors. But all else being equal, for me in yin-yangs, I don't distinguish the two colors, and don't view that as a necessary component of these. Setting yin-yangs, by the way, is a giant pain. And if you are a person who has contemplated if maybe you would like to set a yin-yang, I would recommend choosing any other variant to set. Also be very aware that there are an awful lot of requirements for yin-yangs that are not at all considered. So I told you about a couple of the sort of secret rules of yin-yang. There's a really ugly secret rule about the border, and exactly how the parity works along the border. That is not at all clear, and that burned a week of my life. So at some point, I am going to give a talk about math of puzzles in some capacity. I don't know exactly what capacity, but I will try to make it available. And in that talk, I will definitely talk about why there is this incredibly strange condition that burned a week of my life, because I was setting a yin-yang puzzle, and literally I put one clue in the grid and it was already broken. And so we can do that. Yes, so Tall Cat has said that I proposed this talk to give at SudokuCon, but the SudokuCon people have ghosted me. So I have no idea if we'll actually be at SudokuCon or not. So we will find out. But we will. But I will do it one way or the other, because it's sort of been percolating in my mind for a while anyway. Dorlier says there's also the proof that there's a maximum of 50 shaded cells and a minimum of 31 shaded cells. Interesting. I've not seen that proof. Does the proof give you a natural scaling for larger grids? Like, is there a formula for the maximum and minimum of an M by N grid or something like that, Dorlier? Do you know? Because that would be interesting. Oh, is it just the same thing as the perimeter proof? somehow. Because yeah, the perimeter proof is very cool in terms of the math that it uses. Like I really like I like applications of math that get you really non-obvious results. That tends to be my sweet spot, where it's sort of some sort of like cool parody thing, or whatever. And in this case, it is a cool thing where sort of like bizarrely, it feels like. I mean, yin yang only has two rules, and it feels like the two rules somehow conspire to make this thing in a way that feels like it can't possibly be the case. Uh, Alrighty, I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in a little bit with further puzzle time. So see you all in just a moment. All right. Funnily enough, we were just talking about my yin yang puzzle that used this rule set that Florian then made one. Well, that means I'm going to do this. Plus, we've just talked about all the secrets of yin yang, so I don't have to talk about all the secrets of yin yang. So this is a giant 9 line. So each line can be yeah, baby dragon was what was the one that I was referring to. Yeah. It may be the only yin yang puzzle I ever set. We will see. So if you look along the border, along this line, you have to divide it entirely into contiguous groups of cells that sum to 9. And additionally, each segment must be one color, and 2 adjacent segments cannot be the same color. Okay. So the thing I noticed right away is that this is, of course, one segment. And so, therefore, it's the same color, whatever that color is, which means that these two are different colors, because otherwise I'd have a 2 by 2. So I'm not going to color this yet, but I am going to note that we can at least make it that far along the line. It's funny, I actually could have done this the other way too, right? Yeah, I could also, even without this 2-cell one, I was thinking the 2-cell one was like a very clever way to tell me where the border was. But I actually could have just said, this is too long for there not to be a border in here, because I'm about to say this is too long for there to not be a border in here, because that's 4 cells, and they would sum to at least 10, and 10 is, fun fact, more than 9. So I therefore know that that is purple, and that is yellow, and I can wrap the entire world like that, I believe. So I couldn't have gotten maybe the exact location of this divide, but I could at least have gotten the spirit of it. Okay, so this cell has to be purple because I need at least 2 cells to get to 9. These two have to be purple because if either of them is not purple, they're both yellow, and that causes like 16 different problems. One of those problems is that I create a 2 by 2 of yellow, and the other of which is that I create a 9 sum, which contains at least 5 digits in the same box, both of which sound pretty catastrophic. And so that pushes this yellow over, because this yellow has to be at least too long. Tall cat zeta yin yang setting stream. Perfect. This cell is definitely yellow, because this cell could just barely be purple, but there's no way that this cell is still purple. So that cell is yellow, because if this cell was still purple, it would mean that we were purple all the way back here. This is yellow. We've published a couple of collabs before. I'm sure we will publish additional collabs. So we've got this foreboding-looking arrangement over here. Could this possibly be yellow is my next question. Because if this is yellow, that could just be yellow. If that was yellow, we'd need a 1-2 pair and a 1-2-3 triple, which is probably what happens. So this pair is not both yellow. Could both be purple, though. Oh, actually, here's the thing to look at. This 5 contiguous cells needs some purple in it, because, in particular, I need some purple along here. So that cell... Oh, sorry, maybe this could just be a really long sum of purple, actually. Sorry, this could all be purple, I think. That's certainly not yellow. Let's do the easy one. If this was yellow, the yellow would need to connect up or down, and it certainly can't. So we've got that. let's see. Here, this is purple, purple. Ah, yes, yes, yes. If this is yellow, it makes that yellow, which I was thinking like, oh, that's fine, but it's not fine because it disconnects the purple. So that's definitely purple. Right. Uh, thank you, chat, as always. And I know these are yellow or purple, but I don't know which one yet. Ah, now this is also purple, right? Because if this is yellow, then that would be yellow. So, oops, sorry, that was too many. So this is purple. So that's yellow to avoid a 2x2. Uh, okay, so these sum to at least 19, right? No, sorry. Sorry. These sum to at least 16. Is what Emma is doing, because that's 5 cells is at least 15. Plus 1 is 16. And so this could still be yellow, but this can't be. Because if this is yellow, it would make all of that yellow. And now I would end up with saying that that doesn't work. So basically, here's a different way to say that. These sum to at least 15. These sum to at most 9 because of the rules of the puzzle. So these sum to at least 6. So I could make both of those yellow, but at that point I'm at least 9, and 9 is the maximum. So this is always purple. And now that being purple makes that also purple. So now we're at a quite lengthy purple interlude. So we've got that. If this is purple, I think people are going to tell me that I summed too much because it would be 15. Oh, that would be 18 exactly if that were purple for these. If this is purple, would work. Yeah, so if this is purple, now these 3 sum to a minimum of 6. Plus 1, 2 is 9, plus that would be 10. So this can't be purple because it's in the same row as these. So this becomes yellow. That becomes purple to avoid a 2x2. This purple gets out through that doohickey. This becomes yellow. And so, yeah, same thing over here, right? This already, if that were purple, it would again be 6 plus 3 is 9 is minimum. That's too big. So that is yellow, which makes that yellow. Also, this is yellow because I need at least 2 cells in my sum, and this is yellow because I need at least 2 cells in my sum. So that is purple. That is yellow because I have to avoid a 2x2. That's purple because I have to avoid a 2x2. And that's purple because I have to avoid a checkerboard. That's yellow because I have to avoid a 2x2. That's yellow because I have to avoid a checkerboard. That's purple because I have to avoid a 2x2. That's purple because I have to avoid a checkerboard. That's yellow because I have to avoid a checkerboard. That's purple because I have to avoid a 2x2. That is purple because I have to avoid a checkerboard. This is purple because of connectivity. I get to say different words all of a sudden. And that's yellow because I have to avoid a 2x2. Well, that sort of spiraled out of control. I don't think we ever learned the argument about combining these to get the color of row 3, column 2, but we seem to have made it anyway. Without that. let's see. That was a very long. Yes. So let me give you a preview of what setting a yin yang puzzle is like. Setting a yin yang puzzle is a lot like that, except then at the end it breaks. Because you end up with a check, you end up being unable to place either or to prevent both a checkerboard and a 2x2. And so then you rewind 17,000 steps and you place a different clue, and then you place a different clue, and then you repeat all of that. You repeat all of that again, and then it breaks. And then rinse and repeat is the yin yang setting experience. Okay, so these certainly sum to at least 6. Looking at, I'm going to actually put in the chains now for this as periods, just so we could do that. Technically, I could erase the yin yang part at this point, because it's not actually doing anything anymore if I mark out my things. So these sum to at least 6, so therefore this can be at most 3. These sum to at least 15, and so these two sum to at most 3, which means they have to be a 1-2 pair. Which means these two sum to 7, I guess, because of that. Yeah, so these two sum to 7 because of those summing to 3. And if these two sum to 7, and I know these sum to 9, that means the total sum is 16, which means I can write in that these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That's the only way to make 16 in 5 cells. Did I do that math wrong? Oh, right, sorry. I did the math wrong because I'm used to doing 10-line puzzles, and this isn't a 10-line puzzle. Right. They sum to 9, not 10. Right. So, sorry. So these sum to 6 is the actual answer. They sum to 6. So this is a 3 or a 4. This is a 1 or a 2. And in particular, these sum to 6 and these sum to 9. So these are certainly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's certainly a 5 in there. And so these are certainly 6, 7, 8. Now that we have done that correctly. Oh, 4 or 5. Sorry, 4 or 5. Oh, but it's not 5. Oh, but if it's 4 or 5, then none of that works. Sorry. Sorry. 4, 5, 1, 2. There we go, to make 6. It's still true that we need to use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's still true that we get a 6, 7, 8 over there. Like that. Okay, so we've got this. So these sum to at most 17. If we want to do a little bit of math. And so if these sum to at most 17, that means they use digits no larger than 7. Oh, I guess that's not great. So that just tells me there's an 8 in one of these cells. So that's not super useful. Let's see. It's still true that I always use a 1, 2, 3, 4 in a 2-cell sum. I guess that's maybe not immediately useful. Oh, let's see. Garion says if this is 1, then it's going to make these sum to 5 at minimum. And that's assuredly too much because that would be... oh, maybe not quite. We might have to go with Selena's suggestion to say that these cells sum to a minimum of 20. That doesn't sound good. Why am I doing this wrong? Oh, because it's 3 cells here. Sorry. These cells sum to a minimum of 16, plus these two as a minimum of 18. So I have to minimize it because they certainly sum to at most 18. So that means that we get a billion digits at once, but I'll pick the ones so that Big Zach can join us, because there have been a lot of more sophisticated dances today that Big Zach has not been able to participate in. So let's bring out Big Zach for the one dance. Ba-boop-a-doop, woo! Ba-doop-a-doop, wah! Ba-doop-a-doop, wee! Ba-doop, 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 wah! Thank you, Big Z. Thank you. So that is a 2. That's a 4. These are a 1, 3. I can solve for x to figure out what that is, because these currently sum to 7, so that's a 2. And I said that, yes, and so that has to be a 3, because it's not a 2 or a 1, so that's the 1. And so I think that checks out. In terms of how this all works out. This is not 1, 2, or 4. In fact, so these are a 1, 3, 5, sum to 9. And there's a 1 in one of these cells, which tells me that this 3 cell sum to 9, I know what it is, because it doesn't have a 1 in it. This 3 cell sum to 9. I mean, I'm eventually going to remember that I'm doing my arrow stuff and not my other stuff. This has to be a 2, 3, 4. And so that means those aren't the 3, so that's the 3. And so these are actually 6, 7, 8. This can't be an 8, because these need to be from 1, 2, 3. Okay, so in particular, that can't be the 1, because if that is the 1, it makes this cell at least 5, and these already add to too much. So that's the 1, that's the 5. And now this had better be a 1, because if it's not, it's at least 6. And so this is... oh, right, 1, 2, 7 is already too much. Still adding to 10. Yep, still adding to 10. This actually minimizes like that. Yes, the experience adds up. Okay, so these are also 6, 7, 8, except this is a 2-cell 9 sum. And it can't be 6 plus 3, and it can't be 8 plus 1, so it has to be 7 plus 2. So we've got that. Oh, good point. This is 4, 5, because it sees 1, 2, and 3. So that's not 4. Oh, Sven has noticed that this is a 3, apparently. Thank you, Go Gadget Sven. Okay, so there's a 1 up here somewhere. Yeah, somehow the fact that it's a 8x8 grid doesn't throw me, but the fact that it's summing to 9 and not 10 really throws me. Let's see. There is a 1 in this sum, for what it's worth. So this is always 1, 3. Oh, and there's the 2 is not. So if there's a 2, it's there. This isn't 4 or 5. So this is 2, 3, or 6, funnily enough. Oh, and it can't be 6, because if it was 6, those would be a 1, 2 pair. So this is a 2 or a 3. Eichler is pointing out we know what this is. I bet it's not 5, 5. So let's see. So that one... yes. Neither of these cells can be 1, 2, or 3, so they're always a 4, 5 pair. So that probably means that this row that doesn't have a 1, a 3, or a 4, 5 left to go, these have to be 2, 7. And we seem to know that that is a 7 and a 2. Okay, that I misscanned because it was an 8x8. And the 2 was very far away. not to imply that I scan very well in 9x9s, but slightly better than that. These are 6 and 8, which I'll fill in because it lets me fill in that 7 and that 8. Let's see. We've still got a couple to fill in. Let's see. These would be 4, 5 if they were anything. Oh, there's a 2, 3 pair in this column. Let's use that to fill in the 6, 7. So that gives us a 6, 7, 8 triple. So now I have restricted what this line can be, because it can't involve a 6 anymore. So this is either... So this has a 1 on it and no 6. So in fact, that just completely determines what it is. It has to be 1, 3, 5. Because that's the only sum that meets both criteria that we know about. So that is a 2. That's a 2. This is the other 3 or 4 for the column, but it's not a 4, so it's a 3, and that's a 4, and that's a 3. These numbers, well, that one just is a 2, so that's a 7, just by Sudoku is what I did there. And that is a 4, I want to say. Okay, so these are either 1, 8 or 3, 6. Yep, they sure are. One of those. Let's see. It's not 1, 8 because neither of them is 1, Daniel points out. So they are 3, 6. And we know the order, and that places the 6, the 7, and the 8 over here. The 7 there, the 6 there. So we can fill in these 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8, it looks like. Let's see. These 2 are... Let's see. They are 4, 5, or 1, 8. Okay, and that one is not 4 or 8. And so that one is not 1 or 5. Let's see. 3 has been placed in row 4. Very good Sudokuing from Laura there. Let's see. We've got some... we've got a 7 placed in box 8, or row 7 if you prefer. We've got a 5, 8 left to fill this in. Let's see. Let me pencil mark the remaining cells with the power of Sven. I am being told there is 1, 7 left in the grid. It is there. I have a 4, 5, 8 triple in this column, which means that I was supposed to say I have a hidden 6 here in the column. It's not even like a 6 that's placed by Sudoku exactly. It's just a weird 6. So we've got that. And one of these is a 6 over in this box. And so that makes that digit an 8, which makes that digit a 6. These aren't 8. Let's see. One of those is 8. That's a 4, 5, 6 triple, which makes that an 8, which makes that a 6 and an 8. Places the 6 over there that we were curious about before. That's not an 8 anymore. This is a 4, 5, 8 triple down here now, so that's a 2. Oh, this cell I never pencil marked, but it's a 4 or 5. And so now we try to understand the nature and purpose of reality. I can color that these two 4, 5s are the same 4, 5. Because they both see that 4, 5. And so This is, I'm going to make them green. Maybe that'll stand out better. Yeah, that stands out much better. This is the other 4-5. And so this cell sees both 4-5s. And so that is an 8, which makes that a 5 and an 8 and a 5 and a 4. 5, 5, 4, 4, 5, 4. 4, 8, 1, 5, 1, and 5. I'm going to get rid of these before I fill in the last digit. Very nice. I will say, like, solving yin-yang puzzles is fun. So don't interpret anything I said about setting yin-yang puzzles to mean that I won't solve yin-yang puzzles now and then. It is the setting of yin-yang puzzles that I somewhat abhor. But yes, we did a good little use of condiment there at the very end. That was the perfect illustration of I guess simple coloring is the usual title of that technique, or condimentitude, if you prefer. Let's see. I think I am going to do a 6x6 to wrap up, I believe. Let's see. We did not do this Polando one the other day, which I saw was there, which is somewhat scary because it has the word indexing in it. So we have standard 6x6 stuff. By the way, yeah, I should have said this puzzle was great. I really enjoyed that from beginning to end. Everything was very smooth and nice. I was surprised that this length 2 line wasn't used as the break-in over here. I kind of wonder if actually this was the last clue. I don't know. I'm curious because it so naturally gave the sort of split. I have at no point loved indexing. I like did the little like 159 thing while people were doing the whole 159 thing, but I soured pretty quickly on indexing as a mechanic in puzzles. Like occasionally it's used well. It is, in my experience, usually not. Because mostly the reason is I don't like case checking, and 99% of indexing logic is just I checked the cases and this was the one that worked. Which is why I tend not to like it. I know some people really like it. Some people also really like the case checking stuff more than I do. So that tends to be my main objection. Okay, so we've got our normal 6x6 rules, and we have some dots. The numbers in the dot on the brown diamonds is the sum of the cells it touches. And then position indexer, if a digit D is in position P in a box, then the digit P is in position D of the same box. All cells are position indexers. Okay, so insane. So these are a 1-2 pair, I suppose. Because the sum of these is 18. And so to understand that, if this is a 1, that says that in box 1, the 1 is in position 1, which would be true. And this would say that in box 4, the 2 is in position 2, if that were the 2. Otherwise, okay, well, this just can't be a 1. Because if this is a 1, this says in box... Wait, is that true? Sorry, maybe I'm wrong. This would say that in box... oh, it's the same box. Wait, it's the same box? Oh, it's the same box. Okay, so... not in that box. Okay, it's in the same box. So the... Okay, so if this is a 1, it says it's a 1. And if this is a 2, it says that's a 4. And if this is a 1, it says that's a 4, which doesn't work. Is that correct? Yeah, so this is not a 1. So this is a 2, and that's a 1. And that being a 2 tells me that's a 4. I do agree with Dorlier. It's a little weird that these aren't killer cages. So these are 3, 5, and 6. Okay. So I guess I have to look at this and say, okay, if this is a 3, it says nothing. If this is a 5, it says that's a 3. And if this is a 6, it says that's a 3. Okay, so this 13 has a 1 and a 2 in it. So it needs to have also in order to add to 13, it needs to also have a 4 and a 6, because I need 2 digits that add to 10, and the only ones available are 4, 6. So that means that these digits are 3 and 5, and these digits are 4 and 6, just respectively. So one of these is a 4 for sure. It's a 4, 6 pair. So we're claiming that one of these things can't be a 4, I think is what people are saying. Yes. So if this was a 4, it would say that was a 6, which doesn't work. So that can't be the 4, so that is the 4. Yes. And so the way to read this is the 3 and 5 place a 1 and a 4 into positions 3 and 5. But now, I guess the 4 there, I should have just said places a 3 there. And so that's a 3 and that's a 5 is how I could have said that. Okay, so the 5 then places a 1 there. And so these 2 6s either flippy floppy or they don't flippy floppy is the name of the game. Okay, and so this 4, 6, likewise, I should read as saying that a 1 and a 3, sorry, a 1 and a 4 go in positions 4 and 6. So yeah, so the 4, 6 here say that the 1 and 4 go in spots 4 and 6. So these two cells are a 4, 6 pair. Sorry, are a 1, 4 pair. But I know where the 1 goes because the 1 can't go there. And if that's the 1, that means that's a 6 and that's a 4, and that's the fixed point. So these numbers are 2, 3, 5 for what it is worth. Let's see. This is a 2, then this is the 3 and the 5. Switch positions. If this is a 3 or a 5, then the 2 swaps with one of those. Yeah, okay. So I have to somehow now try and make a computation about what is happening with the 14 cage or the 13 cage or something, presumably. That's Big Zach, our intern, Ben. Okay, so the 14 cage has to have a 1, because if it doesn't have a 1, it's 2, 3, 4, 5. And in particular, positions 2, 3, 4, and 5 are there, and none of those can actually be 1 if this is a 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I ask where 1 goes in this box, it goes exactly there. Because we said it had to go in the cage, and it can't go there, because if it were there, then that would be a 4. And so that being a 1 means that's a 5. And now these two need to sum to 8. So they need to be 2, 6, I believe. And so that seems to be a 6 and a 2. The 6 there puts a 4 there. And now that's a 3. So that's a 6 and 2 and a 6. No 2, no 6s. Okay, well, the 2 definitely doesn't go in spot 3 anymore, so this is never a 3. Oh, the 6 just indexes the 3 in box 1. Thank you. Okay, so there's certainly a 3 and a 4 inside my sum to 13 now. So if there's a 3 and a 4, those sum to 7, then I need 2 things that sum to 6. The others are 1 and 5. Oops. And so apparently that digit is a 4 and that digit is a 5. And that digit is a 3, so that digit is a 2, and that digit is a 1, and that digit is a 6. And now hopefully the rest of it goes in like that. Very bizarre. But yeah, very interesting how this sort of works. Yeah, the box indexing was a little after I got out of the indexing game. 2 days after retirement or something. So I haven't done as many indexing-y puzzles as I used to. But interesting, and I liked the sort of the way the killer was combined with it. That was fun. Alrighty, I am going to wrap up stream there for today. Do please give the stream a like if you have not yet given the stream a like. And big thanks to all of you who support the stream in whatever way you support it, be it by telling me how to count to 6 when I cannot, or giving thumbs up or comments, or by donating. And of course, we appreciate the donators especially. So huge thanks to all of you. If you do want to donate, you can now do YouTube GIFs, which someone will figure out how to do and work it out, I suppose. I don't know. Perhaps you can give me a camel. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I've seen people on Twitch get camels. I've never gotten a camel. But thank you for all of you who do that. And last but not least, thank you to the Turbines, Daniel, David, Franco, Nell, Nordy, and Plonktime. Thank you to David for the donation earlier. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time, which will be Sunday. But for now, bye.